Michael Kroger, how much is at stake politically? I know there's a lot of other legal issues, the question about the Indigenous wellbeing that Stephen's raised, but on just the politics of it for both Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese, how does this play out given the result one way or the other for both of them?
Well, I think the answer there is quite a lot. More for Albo than Peter Dutton, because he's, the Prime Minister, he's leading the campaign. And if it loses, it certainly puts an end to the Republican referendum anytime soon, but it would call into question Albo's judgment in relation to the Voice, where he could have adopted a more modest proposal either by deleting executive government, where I think it probably would be passed, or alternatively passing the Voice through both houses of Parliament, putting a sunset of it for 3 or 5 years to see how it worked, and after that period of time, if it worked well and there weren't objections, then you could put it into the Constitution. But the all or nothing gamble he's taking, it's a bit like that teacher in Waking Friday who kept doubling his 2-up bet in order to break his bond with the New South Wales Education Department. It didn't end well. And Albo, this is a high risk strategy for him. A more conservative approach would see this probably pass, but he's putting up the most extreme referendum change in 120 years, and he's at risk, mate.
Yep, Stephen, just to you finally, we're almost out of time, but your reaction to that from Michael? He's saying it's such a high-stakes effort by Mr Albanese.
No, the person who will be diminished, whether he wins or loses, is Peter Dutton. He'll be seen as a wrecker. He'll be seen as someone who didn't want to reach out and embrace change. If he wins, he'll be that. If he loses, he'll be diminished because his campaign is scared didn't come through. But again, to Michael's extremist point, the chief legal scholars in this country don't accept your arguments and reject them, Michael.
No, they don't, Stephen. There's plenty of legal scholars that don't agree with you whatsoever. They don't agree with you, Stephen.
Michael,
There's this broad generalisation, all these legal scholars agree. No, they don't, mate. They don't.
I've got to wrap it up. Gents, nice to see you both. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for your company as always.